Hey guys, welcome to Clockwork down to Noodles. We're here for another breakdown of My Dress Up Darling, episode 8. 4 episodes left. Can you really believe how quickly this season has gone? It seems to have just flown by. Very shortly, I'm going to bring to you guys my final review where I tell you my top 3 anime of this season of winter 2022 as we then move into spring. And spring is a very different ball game compared to winter. There's a lot less going on, but there's a lot of things I'm really excited for. There's a title in particular I'm just over the moon to break down on the channel when it comes out. I can't wait. I've been waiting for it for perhaps a year. Can't wait to bring that down. But you guys need to make sure you are subscribed or you're gonna miss out and you're not gonna see the new videos on the channel or you're gonna lose the channel. But every subscription helps me massively. It really does. Would love to hit 1k of subscribers by the end of the year. That is my goal. And I really hope that you guys too can help me out, even if it's just telling a friend about me. Get them to check out my top 3s and see how bad they are or something. Just anything to support me would be amazing. I'm going to be bringing very shortly my top 3s to you guys. But there is also currently the midway review that has gone up. In that video, I've crowned my top 3 OPs, EDs and current standing animes halfway through the season, just so you can see what my thoughts are roughly in between the seasons as well. That's already up. If you're on Discord as well, you would have got a notification to your phone whenever anything is dropped, so you guys already knew that video was up. This Discord channel is just a good place to stay connected with everything that's being posted, because we all know that YouTube sometimes doesn't tell us what's going on. Even if you have the bell rung, you sometimes don't get a notification on when somebody posts. I follow quite a few people and videos slip by me all the time, and I want to believe I watch most of their content, but it happens to the best of us. My top 3 anime of the season, but I'm also going to tell you guys what I am excited for next season, the things I plan to watch in my own time, and the things I plan to break down. In this video, I basically give you a rundown, a little brief description of what's coming your way, and some of you guys decide to check them out, and some of you guys have been shocked that my opinions are sometimes decent. I sometimes smell a good anime before it hits, and hey, even this anime in particular has been one that people weren't expecting, but I told you to watch because I had a really good feeling, and look at that, it has become a very good. Let's go though, because episode 8 has a lot to talk about. I like the fact that we actually start with Inui, and I'm going to call her Inui because Juju is Juju. I know it's technically her surname, but I will butcher her first names. Inui is the sister, and that's what we're going to stay with. She is completely similar to Gojo. I love the fact that the entire first half, we see her, like Gojo, that support pillar behind the cosplayer. Cosplayers don't need a support pillar, but if they can have one, that's even amazing. If I could have a support pillar or somebody hold my bag or just something, I would be eternally grateful, because you don't realise how even just the small things can make a big difference to somebody. Her skills in photography, those are a really rare ace up your sleeve. Photography will help you go far. As we already established, that the better the cosplay pictures, the more people who will like your pictures, the more followers you get, the more traffic you get because the image looks good. Little things, just little things if you know how to micromanage. I wish I had somebody controlling all of my cosplay stuff, because I'm definitely making a mess of it and it's definitely gone dead. Having that cosplay support, just amazing. And the support coming from just being a sister, but photography is just a fantastic ace up your sleeve. And this week we get to talk about DSLR cameras and photography. This anime is talking to me, guys, on a personal level. I've never known an anime to talk to me on a personal level. You guys already know I'm a cosplayer, but I've been modeling for 16 years. I've been behind the camera, in front of the camera. I do this. I live and breathe this as my second job. I model in my spare time. I've owned 2 DSL cameras. I recently sold one because it was just gathering dust during COVID. Maybe one day I'll get another one again. I have recently picked up editing. I do on and off edit for people. I can edit pictures, balance them, make them look pretty, just do little tiny things. Always needed if you want slightly better images to get out of that corner, get rid of blemishes and things. I can do all of that. Forced perspective, when we have Inui going through some of the really nice photography methods, things like forced perspective, changing the focus. The model is in the background. You can make it blur in the front, or you can do it vice versa. Most of the time, a standard photo, the foreground is where the model is. Getting a bit more creative with it, having the model in the background, having like the flowers as we see in this shot are blurred and leading in. Blurring also helps draw your viewer to where you want it to look. The reason it's called forced perspective is because you are forcing a person to look in a certain direction, whether you're using leading lines, maybe a leg in an angle leading up to a face or something. In this shot, we look towards the brightest part of the photo because the eye is drawn to the brightest part. The photographer in this picture knew that, so they put the model in the light, and that's where you're drawn to looking, and everything's blurring, drawing you into the model. It's all accurate stuff. If you want to know how the anime is doing on accuracy, 100%, this is something that is done. Things like shutter speed are fantastic if you want to have a motion shot. Freezing motion in the frame, having a jumping image, having a lively image. A lot of comments on my modelling portfolio are often, your images all look so lively, so full of life. Most of the time, photographers like to catch me in mid-jump. I don't know what it is, I just jump like crazy and people love that. There's also a really nice moment where Inui is asked, would you want to cosplay yourself? Obviously the answer is yes, but she doesn't really want to say anything. She feels really shy not to. But we do get to use the exact forced focus that we have just spoken about. That itself is to blur out the bricks in the background and draw us right to Inui's face as she struggles to answer immediately on this question. It's just a really nice use of the advice and the tutorial she's just given us. But welcome to the world of cameras, guys. It's expensive. It's really expensive. Some people who collect glass, and we call lenses glass, their collections are insured. You have to insure your glass because it's so expensive. Lenses can vary from 4 to 5 figures on their own, and that's not just the camera body. I had a camera, my most expensive camera. I don't own it anymore, so don't rob me, guys. I had a 2K camera body. I had the lenses to go on it and everything. It was expensive, and there was a point when I got a new lens. I got out the car thinking the camera had the lens attached. The lens rolled out and hit the car park below. It's painful. I'm happy the anime is drawing to how expensive photography really is, because pro cameras are not for the faint-hearted, not for the faint bank balance, because they're expensive. It's nice because it's telling you how much effort goes into being a photographer. Often enough, photography and cosplayers go hand in hand. There's been a few people who try and cause rifts between photographers and cosplayers. At the end of the day, you need to appreciate the art, and you're both artists. Photography is an art, cosplay is an art. The anime does do the pushing of Juju into Gojo. It's a little bit, it's just minor. I was hoping it wouldn't push it any more than it did. Seemed to get us to see a new side of Juju herself, the vulnerable side, the I'm terrified of things, I am a human. I may come across as raw, I am fearless, but everybody has a fear. Everybody will be vulnerable at some point. It's just sometimes seeing that vulnerable side. But I love it because this moment, the moment she says about her dreams and the moment she found her first cosplay, it resonated, guys. I almost felt like my heart was doing a little pound. It was, cosplay lets you live your craziest dreams. You can become a princess, a Viking warlord, anything you want. Cosplay allows you to really live out your best lives. I absolutely love the overlay of her looking at herself in the glass, seeing the dress and then buying the dress. We all start somewhere. Everyone starts with rubbish wigs. My wigs, oh god. I told you guys, I initially was really lazy. I'd buy a wig, wear it for a con. It would get messed up. I'd buy a new wig. It was very wasteful at times. Everyone starts somebody. I look at some of my first cosplays and I would do so much more different now that I've grown as a cosplayer. The scene where Juju admits to being jealous is a moment that shows her as simply being human, but it also triggers a nice moment with Gojo. Powerful moment with Gojo where he remembers the first time he heard the idea of falling in love at first sight, really catching the eye. Gojo once upon a time saw those dolls, and that was the moment he dedicated his life to the pursuit of becoming a doll artist. Gojo's own work, his own costume, had captured the eye of somebody else and made them fall in love with his work. And that is the thing that he needed to hear the most, because he now finally understands what his grandfather felt when he was asking all of this and being jealous of his work. Generally, jealousy is a bad thing, but sometimes a little bit of jealousy, if you use it correctly, can really be an honourable thing. Like, somebody is jealous of your work, that is a high honour. It just depends how you act around it and how you use that jealousy. Don't use it in a bad way. Use it to go, I love your work, I wish I could be like you, I want to improve. I love the sudden turn to the horror genre as we have Gojo zombie-like heading towards the already freaked out Juju. There's no good horror anime this season. I hope there's horror coming out at some point. I don't think even next season there's any horror on the table. Does try and tread the Gojo towards the Juju thing and the grabbing of the hand. I think it is going to go nowhere, so I really do hope this goes nowhere, but we do get to see that Juju's first ever hand being held is by Gojo, and you have this really interesting moment with her kind of unplugging, disconnecting from the world. That's it. Error 404, Juju not found. Let's now talk about perhaps my most favourite sequence in the entire anime. I know there's cosplay in this anime, but this moment now, the entire beach section is perhaps my favourite scene of the anime, because Marin's carefree nature is just refreshing. How refreshing is it? She's so shameless about eating food and a bit of, I think it's sauce on her face. That's me. I love it. Food makes people happy. I love this as well. Also, to be trolled by a seagull. Welcome to the beach. Seagulls are a-holes. I love the little joke, the little pun of the hamburglar. But the beach, inverted quotes, date is beautiful. It's so chill. I love the fact that, if anything, nothing really happens. It's just the two looking out at the sea. We are behind. We don't even see their expressions. The little bit of a breeze that tossles their hair, showing us how slow that time has really just slowed down, and it's nice and peaceful. It's not an awkward silence. It's just a nice, calming silence. This entire sequence, guys, is just charming. The artwork at this moment, it really does remind me of a old classic anime. No anime in particular comes to mind, just the background is quite whited out. There's not a lot of definition in the background. Gojo and his art at this point really stands out against the background, but it just reminds me of an old classic anime where the backgrounds maybe were static or something and the characters move between them. I really like the way that this sequence is shot. It's beautiful. Really love the moment where he just steps out onto the beach for the first time, the wet sand. That moment where he just stands there on the beach, and it just brings back memories to when I would do it. And I remember that wet sand, if that makes sense, the sand that is wet by the tide, which has just gone out, and it's obviously that different color, and you stand on it and it's like hard. It's weird. It's making me think of really weird things back to when I went to the beach. Gojo never really having experienced a great deal because he was so far focused on his work. This opening up such a beautiful opportunity for Marin to say, well, let's do it. Let's go and experience all those firsts. I believe is something that I felt before. Seeing those expressions on Gojo, him experiencing it for the first time. Marin, how could you not fall in love with somebody of that expression? Just going, I want to be there for all of your firsts. I want to show you the world that you have missed as well. I want to be there for it. It's such a really nice moment. I love the fact that it allows us to open up a summer of the two spending time together. It doesn't feel weird, although I think to Marin, maybe she wants it more as like a datey thing, and I really do wonder if she maybe likes him more than he currently does like her. But we're not really getting a lot from Gojo right now. We do seem to be taking the story a bit more from her focus. Backlighting is the best. Such a nice way of using the theme of the anime to come back round and actually use it. I think that's why I also like the anime, is because it will have a theme and then it will example it, state what it is, and then use it at some point. Like I said earlier, using the blurring when we actually focus in on Inui's face, which when she'd just been talking about the idea of blurring, and now this, the idea of backlighting, when we were told about backlighting, seemed a bit weird at the time, and now we see Gojo lit up beautifully. I personally prefer natural light. I have a thing for natural light. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, but backlighting can be used with it. A fantastic use of using the theme. It's a great wrap up. I do wonder if Marin likes Gojo, perhaps more than he currently likes her. I know that he accepted her offer to go and do things together, but it might be for a completely different reason than what she also is hoping to get out of it. An absolutely fantastic episode. I really love this episode. This episode was great. This episode has perked up my interest again. So if it was dipping a little bit, it's now back up again for where it was because it was so well shot. I was worried that they were going to run out of plot with the whole, I'm going to make you a cosplay, and it will go round and round and round. But no, we are developing a relationship. We are exploring the characters. We're now seeing a bit of Gojo about what it meant to him and the moment that made him want to spend the rest of his life dedicated to making dolls. Such a beautiful moment. And seeing Marin looking at him, actually going, he looks absolutely amazing. Wanting to see him smile, wanting to show him the world and wanting to be there for it is a really good sign towards a future relationship with these guys. Thank you guys so much. I hope you're having a great weekend. Make sure you're going out there, exploring the world, getting all those first experiences. And thank you so much for your support. You've been great. I've been Becca. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.